Hello. In this video I'm going to show you some of the adjustment screws that you have on the Opus1 Gouger that you will be using to make adjustments to the measurements on the piece of cane that you're gouging. The only screws you'll be using on this gouger to make adjustments will be this front screw right here, which loosens the parallels, which allow the center of the gouge to be thicker or thinner. And you'll also be using this locking screw on top and this little black screw in the back right here, which changes the side-to-side thickness of the gouge. Now you'll notice there's a cantilever here with a screw on the front face of it. This is only used in the setup of the gouger and will not be something that you'll be using yourself to make adjustments. This screw also is part of that particular apparatus. So the only screws that you'll be using, as I mentioned, are this front screw, this top locking screw, and this back screw for the side adjustment. Now, if the gouge cane comes out too thick in the center, you will loosen this front lock screw, open the carriage up, and slide these parallels in that direction. And usually 1/8 of an inch is a good starting point. And then once it's been moved, press down on the parallels, both here and here, with equal pressure, and then retighten the screw as you press down on both ends of the parallels. Then gouge cane and check your results. If the gouge is too thin in the center, you'll do the opposite. You'll go in that direction to make it a little bit heavier in the center. Now, if you're making it thinner in the center, it's always advisable to pull the clips down with your finger, and just run the carriage past the end of the bed to make sure that you clear these cane stops at the end. And there's plenty of room there, so you shouldn't have a problem, but it's always a good precaution. Also, if you find that you want to change the thickness of the side of the gouge curve, like behind the ears, for example, you will first loosen this top locking screw here, just in a little quarter turn until it's not gripping the carriage anymore. And you'll turn this screw, and you'll notice here on the carriage you have thicker, the word's written here, thicker and thinner. This is the direction that you'll turn this screw to accomplish that particular change in adjustment. So to go thicker, I will turn this screw counterclockwise, and to go thinner, I will turn it clockwise, and that makes the carriage displace back and forth with relation to the bed. And a good way to guide this adjustment, if you look here, you'll see that there is a brass screw inside here. I'll take a little pointer here, right inside here. It's a little brass screw, or a nut rather. And this nut, of course, has a flat surface and it has a facet surface on there. That is what the wrench uses to grip the nut with. And I use the flat surface as a reference and the facet surface as a reference. So when I'm turning this screw, if I have a flat surface facing up, I will turn it until a facet is facing up, and then retighten the top screw here. Retighten it, and then I'll gouge and check my results. If I have to go further, I'll go from that facet, which is now on top, to a flat, and then retighten this, and then gouge and check my results. And this just helps you keep, a reference of how far you're turning. Now, when you reverse direction, let's suppose you go too far and you want to undo it, you may have to go a little bit further back than you thought you would, because there's always some backlash in the screws that you have to pick up before the carriage begins to move. It's not very much at all, but just be aware of that. So always check your measurements, to be guided by that. And when it's all finished, just tighten this back up, put your cane in the bed, and gouge away and check your results. If you have any questions, you can contact me at opus1gouger.com, and my email and phone number are on there, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.